What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the farm. Oh man, I am out here in the old tractor shed, what we now pretty much refer to as the woodshed, although it's got all kinds of stuff in here right now. You've got Mason's rabbit pen over there. We've got firewood there, and then over here we got a bunch of rough cut lumber. Anyway, I am out here because as we have been letting the chickens roam a lot more, well, every day they're roaming around the yard now. They have stopped nesting in their nesting boxes, and they're just laying in all kinds of random places in here in the woodshed. So what I found this morning is they're laying back over here in amongst this rack that I built for the rough cut lumber. So I'm going to have to go in. I got to figure something out. I got to pull all this stuff out and figure out something to do with all of it, so that way we can actually be able to see better. Maybe, number one, prevent them from just laying anywhere. We're probably going to have to prepare some buckets and things out here. If they insist on laying out here in just random places, I'm going to probably make some buckets. So you look over here, we've got a couple buckets down here on the ground that have got other stuff in them. They lay in there occasionally, but usually what they'll do is they'll just kind of go back over in there, back in the holes in the corners, and they'll lay in there. And we've got to come out here, and it's like an Easter egg hunt every day. We got to walk around looking for eggs. I mean, I'm kind of looking now. So I got to do something to kind of make this a little easier, where they're not just laying in all kinds of random places, and it's easier to find them. So I'm going to start pulling all this stuff out, and we got to figure out something to do. All right, start pulling stuff out. This was old frost cloth that I don't know what I was doing. I had it saved for some reason. I don't remember now why. And then leftover scrap piece of, oh, look at this. There's a hen. Sadie, get back. Get away. Leave the chicken alone. There's a hen in this bucket of kindling laying an egg right now. So I'm going to have to go away. I'm going to leave her alone, and I'll come back out here and get to working once she's out of that bucket, I guess. There she lays. She's laying down in there in the bottom. Alright, still getting stuff out of here, slowly making progress. Got those sawhorses out. This is weed mat to go around our plants. And this is an entire bucket full of number 8 nails. Oh man, that's heavy. I'm having to watch for eggs as I go. So like that weed mat I was telling you about, this was just some scraps when we plant our tomato plants. And we just kind of wrap this around the base to keep the weeds out from underneath the tomato cages. And then there's a bunch in here too. All kinds of this stuff we got left over from years. There's a frame. Plastic frame for a beehive. Man. We hadn't cleaned this out in forever. Well, I saved you the boredom of watching us pull everything out here. Amazingly, we only found 1 egg back in here, and I was expecting a lot more, but it was one of the little blue eggs, and it was frozen, so it's being disposed of. But so it's the hens that are actually, one of them's right here. I think it's maybe Americana. I don't remember. And they have little kind of bluish green eggs, and they just started laying in the past 8 to 10 days or so. So that's a relatively fresh egg, but amazingly that's the only one. So we went ahead and pulled everything out. We disposed of a bunch of stuff that was kind of bad in there, but then what are you fussing at, huh? And so checked a bunch of stuff out. So I built this rack there's a whole bunch of, number one, we've got a bunch of pine mantles in here that we helped the neighbor with whenever he had a pine tree, a white pine go down. So we cut them into live edge mantles and stored them in here, and we had people wanting to come buy them, and they never showed up. So now they're just stuck here. But then there's a whole bunch of cedar in here that we had milled last year. So I got a bunch of cedar, and then I've got all these random cuts of black walnut that we saved for different possible ideas. So if you don't know, we hunt, and we never now and then we'll get a good mature quality animal, and we'd like to make our own mounts out of those. And so we always are looking for some kind of a backer for that. And so we saw this whenever we cut it and thought was, wow, that'd make a pretty good place. You could, you know, mount the head down here below and you'd stain it up really good, or even unstained if you want it. Anyway, so we got all that sort of stuff. And then we just kind of keep everything. We don't really, this is just an old rocking chair that's broken. I may or may not fix it. I mean, you know, when you live out on a farm, you don't want to dispose of a bunch of stuff that you may end up finding a use for in the near future. So you keep it. Just like this expanded metal mesh down here that we've got. We used 6 or 8 pieces of that around the bottom of the chicken coop as a way to prevent, you know, predators from digging into it. So anyway, all right, I'm gonna keep putting stuff up here. So the other thing we did was, what are they doing over there, fighting or something? So the other thing we did was, because they were just laying in random places, if they want to lay in here, then what we've done is we've put certain boxes or buckets out in here where they can go lay in those if they want to. And we've got all the little areas where they could go back into the wood piles and the wood stacks all blocked off, so they can't get in there anymore. But so we tried to leave them options to be able to lay eggs in here if they want to. We'll see, but obviously they're really interested in what we've done in here because they're all in here right now. After we finished working out in the woodshed over where the chickens were at, we decided to load up and go over to the barn and start looking for some plywood for the loft rooms we got going on out here. And so we ended up finding enough of the 3/4 inch OSB to do the floor for both of the loft rooms, and I'll go show you the rest out here. So what we had inside in there was the 3/4 inch OSB, and then here is the, I called it 1/2 inch, but it's actually 7/16, I think. So this is actually the wall. This is actually the plywood for the walls. We're going to use this, and we've got the target sitting on top of it so that if the wind comes up, it helps keep it from flapping, hopefully. But what we got there is we got enough sheets to do one of the loft rooms for the walls. We didn't have enough to do both, so we'll end up having to go buy some more, or we can go over to Dad's barn, and there's another section where he's got some plywood, and we'll just have to go dig around in it and see if anything in there matches what we're looking for. Walk over here to show you over at the box bed area. We're going to do some more stuff out here with the box beds tomorrow. We're running out of time today. It's about to be dark here before long, and Amy's inside fixing dinner. But over here at the box beds, show you a little bit. Right here underneath this big door, it actually was an old door that my dad brought up here from a house that he did. That's going to be the germination bed. I've got that on top of it to try to keep any seeds or anything from blowing into it, because I got to put the soil in there and then build the cover on top of it, and to keep the dog out of it, because after Trey and I came out here and put it together, it took the dog about 15 minutes to find it and start shredding the weed mat. Here comes the cat. It took the dog about 15 minutes to find it and start shredding it. And then after we finished that, Taryn came to me and said she wanted to build a carrot box. Okay, that's fine. I've never had much luck with carrots, but what she's got right here is she came down here and she had the mattock, and I got a couple video clips of that. She was down here. There's something over in those trees just going crazy. Probably a squirrel. But she came down here and she dug her a spot out and leveled it out. We built her box frame and got all that ready. And so we're probably going to put that together tomorrow and go put the cover on top of that so she can go ahead and get her carrots seeded. Like I said, I've tried growing carrots a couple times over the years, never had much luck. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or what, but I've talked to a lot of people who say they can't grow carrots. I don't know if there's just something special, or if I'm doing it the wrong time or wrong process or what. But if you have any luck with carrots, you know, drop a comment, let me know. But that's it for tonight as far as this goes for this part of the video. We'll be back out here tomorrow, and so we'll see you back here in just a little bit. What you doing, Mia? Huh? Hey. What you doing, Mia? Huh? Mia the farm cat. Mia the barn cat, aren't you? Mia the barn cat.